Well, hey everybody, gonna try this video one more time. The Wi-Fi is just sketchy today. So, want to talk about what does this mean, the filter through which you see your paralegal career and the preparation for the same. Well, there are certain factors that influence us, and that's also, it's really can be called a filter. The current career or job you have right now, it may be that you've been doing that for a while, and to a certain point it's comfortable to a certain point, but you feel like, I really want to go do this paralegal job, paralegal career, and I'm tired of what I'm doing, and I want something where I can possibly make more money down the road and not be limited. But sometimes we get so comfortable that to step out and do something else, we start to worry what people will say, what they will think, and we kind of go and put it into an external mode where what the people on the outside. But what's most important is what you feel you're being led to do. God has a plan and a purpose for you, and sometimes, so often, we have this pull to do something and we're not sure where that's coming from. He has created a plan and a purpose for you, a path for you to go down, and that pull towards something, if it's a real pull, is no coincidence. So no matter what, and this builds your character like nothing else, to stop thinking about what other people think, including your spouse, your the people that are your, even like your biggest supporters. They can turn into naysayers because they don't see themselves doing it, and so they can't fathom why you would like it. That's really a crazy way to think, but a lot of people do think that way. And there's also, with naysayers, it can be jealousy or fear that you're leaving the pack. So you're not leaving the pack. I had my own dad chastise me because my language changed when I was in the paralegal field. It's because I was immersed in legalese all the time, and I had to speak a certain way to the attorneys. I learned that over many years just to communicate better in the law firm. When I'm out doing videos like this, I'm not speaking that way. And when I'm with my family, I don't speak that way. But my dad and I were sitting and talking, and some larger words were creeping in, and he was like taken back as if I was trying to show off. Understand, that's not, it was just there. It's that your language changes, things change, and sometimes people can be afraid of that. And no, it wasn't showing off. It's just you absorb it so much. So what filter is it? The family filter, friends, and what they're going to think? Is that a filter for you? Another filter can be your past, your history. What happened in the past? That you don't come from people. This is me. I don't come from people who were in the legal field for the most part. I had two aunties in it, but I really never talked to them about this. I just knew they were, one was an assistant to a judge and the other one was a legal secretary for many years. So I never had any questions to ask them because I never knew anything about the legal field until I jumped in it. So what's your history that would make you think, oh, how can I dare to dream, and how can I dare to do this? You can do this if you have very good skills that I talk about in my videos, good office skills. You have to have that. This is not a career where you stand around for 8 hours a day talking about the law. It's an administrative type job. Okay, for men and women. So I want to talk today because at 12:01 tonight, we're going into 2020. And look at what 2020 means. It's like perfect vision, right? When you have 2020 vision, you have perfect vision. So talking about your short-term goals, which for me means, man, I've got to up my game when it comes to my skill sets. I'm lacking it might be what you're thinking. I'm lacking in this area, that area. How can I ever catch up? The thing is, you do it one step at a time. I was lacking when I entered the legal field. I was lacking in legal terminology. That's why I posted those bar charts, the link to the bar charts, I think it's yesterday. So scroll down and look for that. For legal terminology, you order that and you keep it with you. It's not like you memorize all that. It starts to seep into your brain when you're in the legal field, okay? Don't think you have to be, I have to know everything before I get in there. I have to know what every single word means. It's not possible. So give that up right now. But your short-term goals, what are they? For the people who are asking me about Microsoft Word, I tell you this, and if you've watched a lot of my videos, and I suggest that you watch a lot, and also go to the Paralegal Career Mastermind channel on YouTube and watch a lot of those, those questions that you ask me about Microsoft Word have already been answered. And you go on YouTube and search out a teacher who has maybe a series of videos and actually is a good teacher. You'll know. You don't want a robot teaching you. You want an actual human. So just go find that. Do you need to have a certificate? No, the attorney doesn't. They really don't care about that. They just want you to be able to do it, to do the work. They don't run a school. Okay, remember what I just said. They do not run a school in the law firm. When you go in there and you sit down at your desk, you have to know what you're doing. So what are your short-term goals after you get your skill sets up to speed? And don't put learning, Word, and give yourself 2 weeks to get up to speed on Microsoft Word, no more than 3. Because if you're gonna languish in that and you're not going to push yourself, then you're dealing with fear. I know all about that. That's procrastination, but procrastination is rooted in fear. So don't play that game with your head. Get going, set a deadline for yourself, push, push, push. When you have questions that need to be answered at the law firm, for the most part, you have to find them yourself. So short-term goals is upping your game with your skill sets for your basic office skills, okay? And what's a long-term goal? Well, it might be a short-term goal to land a paralegal job for some of you. Now, remember what I always say, that people who can get into this field can be people who have a high school education, have 2 years of paralegal studies degree, or a certificate. 3 different ways, okay? You are not limited. Don't let anybody tell you that. Hi, Di. Great. Thanks for that, Di. Yeah, it's knowing the basic Microsoft Word skills is important. But once you've got that nailed, then I want you to really push yourself to get the table of contents and table of authorities, and push yourself to learn that. Okay, it may seem as clear as mud when you're starting out, but I want you to push yourself to learn. And you're like, well, how can I do a table of contents? I don't have a document that, well, you know what? You create a fake document with 2 or 3 chapters. And learn how to do you can put a sentence in each, you put a title and a sentence in each chapter, and then you dive into that. Table of authorities, that's a little more difficult, and you just teach yourself by creating a document that has different types of law in it, and it's almost like a table of contents, but it's for the law, because there are different types of law. So it's something you might not have heard about, but it's something that is necessary when you work for an attorney who goes to trial regularly, okay? So it's primarily used to do legal briefs, okay? And just remember that when you're doing your homework, okay? Don't let it bog you down. Just push, push yourself. Those are, for me, table of authorities and table of contents were two mountains that I had to climb over way, way, way back, okay? And before they really had that in, when we used WordPerfect, instead of Microsoft Word wasn't even in existence, I was not even using that in that feature in WordPerfect. I did it by hand. And so that's how my attorneys did it. So I learned it I don't know, not a limited way, but just the by hand way instead of using technology. So, all right. So those are some of the short-term goals, is upping your game. Okay. Learning just reviewing legal terminology. You know, what's a plaintiff? What's a defendant? What's a pleading? What's a motion? So all of those, that sounds so basic, right? But I would definitely get that bar chart called legal terminology, and you'll see it below. Just click on the link. Long-term vision is, like I said, your short-term goal may be land the job within a month. But for those who are looking down the road a bit, that's your long-term goal, is to land a job. That's a filter you're looking through, my long-term goal filter. We talked about the short-term goal filter. This is a filter of, okay, I see it in front of me. How am I going to get there? And as I said, I know you're going to get sick of me showing this, but this is where I plan things in just a plain old Dollar Tree notebook. It keeps me focused on what I want to share with you all. Anything that I want to write, a blog post, sharing via my email list, something I want to share with my email list. Don't forget, go to the website, paralegalcoffeetalk.com, and look up at the top and get the list that's 19 alternative paralegal careers list. Yes, I ask for your email. Yeah, that's so that I can give you more training, and it's really not even once a week. And you might be getting emails as I get closer to the launch of the course in mid-January. But after that, it's really not even once every 2 weeks you get an email. So I'm just not a heavy emailer. So somebody complained that they had to give their email address to get that list. Let me tell you something. That list is worth gold. It opens your mind up toward where corporations that use paralegals and other companies. NASCAR uses a paralegal, and I'm 10 miles away from the Speedway in Daytona. Paralegals are used in insurance corporations, at Walmart in Bentonville, Arkansas. They have SCAD, they have groups of paralegals that handle lawsuits within Walmart. So think outside. That list will help you think outside the box, because sometimes we can limit it to just government agencies and or private law firms, when in fact there's so much more for you to consider, okay, depending on where you live. And bigger cities offer more opportunity, but there's still opportunity around for you to cut your teeth and, start in your first job. Your long-term goal is to land a job, or that's your short-term goal. But that's the filter. It's like, what area of law do I want to be in? Now's the time to set that goal. This is the time of year when people start to, I don't believe in resolutions. I believe in like making plans. And so what is that plan for you? Now, you may be in a first job already. You may have just started one, but your long-term goal is not the type of law you're in. That's okay. Give yourself that freedom to make a change down the road, but learn a lot first. Soak it up like a sponge, and track everything that you are learning. Remember, my newbies that are on here that don't have you are not in your first job. I say this over and over again. You write down every single thing right now. that you've learned in Microsoft Word, every facet of it. They're not going to question you on Microsoft Word and all the facets of it, but I want you to know how much you know. They'll say, oh, yeah, and they'll see on your resume, you know Microsoft Word. If you put down that you know basic and advanced skills, they may say to you, what advanced skills do you know? Be ready to articulate that. Explain yourself. Okay? So, and when I say explain yourself, it's in maybe 3 sentences. Okay? Don't take up 20 minutes to talk about Microsoft Word. It's not important to them as it is to you, because you've got to get the work done. Okay? So long-term goal is that job, or the job that you really want to be in. The first one you get may not be the area of law that you really want to be in. That is okay. So, I've had people say to me about Microsoft Word or about computers in general that they are computer illiterate. If we keep saying negative stuff to ourselves, we are that. I had a cousin that would always say to me, I'm computer illiterate, as if it was a badge of honor. It's, in this day and time, the thing that will push you forward in the legal field will be your quest to be excellent at everything you do. As much as you can. Nobody can reach 100% perfection, but that you have a drive to know more. If you don't, I question whether you want to be in this field or not. If it's just because you Googled this career and it said you're going to earn 50K, that's a joke. When you start out, you will not be earning that. That'll take you time to get there, depending on the size of the law firm, the city you live in. It's different from law firm to law firm. So you have to have something to offer. And believe me, just having customer service skills is not going to get you there. That's tip of the iceberg, okay? So the more you know, the more value you have to the law firm. All right, so the fifth thing I want to talk about is limiting beliefs, and that goes back to saying I'm really lacking in this area. You know what? You don't have to announce that. You just figure out how to solve it. Again, saying I am limited in this area is not a badge of honor. It means it's a problem that has to be solved. So how are you going to solve it? Instead of promoting that limiting belief, how will you make it better? Okay? And then your attitude, you're not going to go into this field and act like a diva or divo. I've met some people like that and thought they've arrived. And I've met long-term paralegals like that, who think that the only way to get in is one way, and that is as far from the truth as you can get. Again, you can have only, and kudos to you for getting a high school diploma or GED. That is incredible. You can have that. You can have a 2-year degree. You can have a certificate, okay? So no matter what anybody else says, there are 3 ways to get in this career, okay? So your attitude is everything. What I don't want to hear is that if you went to school and then someone is hired who did not, I don't want that diva attitude, that inner diva to come out, or divo, as if you've arrived. Cut it out. I've seen that so often. Or somebody who has buku experience and a new hire comes on and there's an attitude. Don't be that person. Strive to never be that person. Okay, that's not a good filter. I would say trash that filter. Okay, hard work and a curiosity will get you everywhere. sincerely. I jumped in this field with almost zero, besides high school education. I had marketing experience as a secretary. I was a stay-at-home mom for many years. I worked for a corporation in Tulsa, Oklahoma that was crazy bad. And it catapulted me to seek my fortune elsewhere. And believe me, it wasn't a fortune when I started out. And then I worked my way up and increased my salary. And it wasn't because I stayed at the same law firm. I left because I was building a career, not building a 9-to-5 job. And when you change your mindset, change that filter, instead of looking at it as I'm an employee, change it to I am building a career. That's the filter I want you to see yourself through, okay? And so as we go into 2020, remember, that's perfect vision. I want you to write down what are those short-term and long-term goals? What have I learned so far? What skill sets do I currently possess? What do I need to get? What area of law, or 2 or 3 areas of law, am I interested in? If it's just one, expand it and find 2 other areas, because that job that opens up may be in an area you never expected. Are you going to turn it down? That's a foot in the door. Don't cut off your nose to spite your face. So you grab that open door and you soak it up like a sponge and stay there for at least a year, and then you move on. Unless you love it there. And then if you've got a great group of people you're working with and great attorneys, oh, that's a tough one. It's hard to leave because you don't know what you're getting into when you move, unless you do a fantastic interview. So, you know, there's a lot before you right now when you're new to this field. And the world is your oyster if you work hard and you put in the time, but you push yourself. You don't stay parked in learning Microsoft Word. You give yourself a deadline of 2 weeks to 3 weeks to learn it. And then you find out what else you have to do. Okay? So I don't want to see you spinning your wheels because fear is setting in. And you'll get there. Oh, good. I'm just reading comments. Yeah, look at, everybody look at Di's comment if you can. Listed a YouTube channel owner. I'm trying to read. The son is like Kurt Kershaw on YouTube. K-I-R-T, I think it is. Kershaw, K-E-R-S-H-A-W. And Di is recommending that, so I would go check that out. Very important to, you know, if you can also learn basic Excel. Okay, and you know what? Limiting beliefs are this. Well, I'll just learn basic and that'll be good enough. Well, what if you just pushed yourself to learn even more in Excel? It's not your forte, you're afraid of it, but what if you pushed yourself and started writing down everything you found out how to do? Put an Excel header in your notebook and then write down everything. Write down everything you know how to do in Microsoft Word, okay? And go from there. It will do nothing but help you. And when you put down on your resume that I would have a heading for software, and under that you're putting all the software packages you know, and under Microsoft Word you're going to put basic and advanced skills. Okay, so that way if you're called in for an interview and they ask you, I see you have advanced skills in Microsoft Word, what does that mean? I've been asked that, and you have to answer that, so be ready for that. You know, I don't think they'd ask you what basic means, but be ready for that too. Okay, make notes about that to carry with you in a folder to the interview, that under advanced skills for Microsoft Word. What do you know? so that it's in your brain. You can just spout it out, and maybe you don't even have to look at your notes, but you can refer to it during an interview. There's nothing wrong with that, okay? No memorization. So have a great one today. Happy New Year, everybody. Again, don't forget to go to the website, and don't forget that the Paralegal Inner Circle class launches mid-January, okay? That class was created to do nothing but help you. The only caveat I have is that for my students, my people here who are currently in school, I would say wait till you're done with that to take my class the next go around. I think it's too much to be dual enrolled. It's up to you, but I think I'd rather have you focus on my class than have it compete against another curriculum. I think it's too much. With responsibilities you have outside of that, people have asked that, and I'm very honest about that. But if you you know, I'd love to have you in class, but I don't want you to be overloaded. So we have a private Facebook group for the class, for every class, but the one that's starting in mid-January, private Facebook group where you can ask all the questions you want. So, and there'll be additional training too. All right, so have a great day. Happy New Year, and I'll be talking to you more than likely in a video tomorrow and for the rest of the week. Have a good one. Thanks for being here. Thanks for your link, Di. I appreciate it. Bye.